In the 1940s, Western Nigeria had the leadership position in formal education in the Nigerian Education Orchestra, followed by Eastern Nigeria and Northern Nigeria respectively. However, before our independence in 1960, Eastern Nigeria had not only equaled the performance of Western Nigeria, but also surpassed it. Professor Kenneth Dike, first Nigerian Vice-Chancellor of University of Ibadan, Professor Eni Njoku, first Vice-Chancellor of University of Lagos, Professor Chike Obi and Professor Chinua Achebe were amongst the educational icons who positioned Eastern Nigeria to sustain and enhance its leadership position in the Nigerian Education Orchestra. However, the Nigerian Civil War, which devastated and literally destroyed the education infrastructure in the then East Central State, now Southeastern Nigeria, revised and lowered the leadership position of the Southeastern states. Governor Dr. Willie Madarabrochukwu Obiano has taken steps to not only revamp education in Anambra State beyond its pre-1960 and pre-Civil War era, has taken giant and very bold steps to make Anambra the model of formal education in the Nigerian Education Orchestra. One of such steps is the massive and sustainable implementation of the literacy enhancement and achievements project in all the primary and secondary schools in the state.
The students of Anambra State to read. Reading is an art and you have to develop it. If you don't have reading habit, you won't be able to read. And when you read, you keep a paper by your side, just like my father taught me many years ago, so that you can have a glossary. Glossary is an exercise book and you write out few words you encounter and you write out their meanings. Please develop the concept of glossary. That's the fastest and easiest way to improve the repertoire of English words that you can use.
The Literacy Enhancement and Achievement Project LEAP was birthed in Anambra State in 2015. The project, which is anchored by the Reading Association of Nigeria (RAN), was developed based on the need for students to have the literacy empowerment to receive and give information creatively and critically in core school subjects.
So basically our vision is to ensure that the benefits and the utility of formal education are available to every member of our school system, irrespective of the level, so that the individual undergoing formal education will have the capacity to process the written text in such a way that the individual will be able to utilize, internalize, utilize, and produce, reproduce, spread the information that is contained in the written text. And given the tremendous success this project had, the Reading Association of Nigeria decided this time to come over to Anambra State to ensuring that the benefits of LEAP are made available to the Nigerian child through the empowerment of the secondary and primary school teachers. And we are so gladdened by the extensive and intensive support we have gotten from the state governor, Chief Dr. Willie Obiano.
By making education one of his key development enablers, the governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano, has shown he understands the importance and benefits of proper and qualitative education as a panacea for literacy and a sustained developed state. Governor Obiano's blueprint for value-based education is hinged on the development of three indices: infrastructure, capacity building, and welfare of teachers and students. It is therefore not surprising that the governor has partnered with RAN to support and ensure the sustainability of the LEAP project in Anambra State.
We are now in Anambra, and very soon Anambra will be the literacy center in Nigeria, and other states will be able to learn from them. And the principle is that if we can do some things very well, and we continue to do it consistently very well, especially about this reading, then it will be a reference point. The critical mass that are supporting the Reading Association in Nigeria, Professor Nikogo and the team, they can now be the resource for other people in other states. So to us, we are starting a paradigm shift. How do you use the resources that you have within your environment to be able to improve learning?
When Chief Obiano, Chief Dr. Obiano sees anything good, he knows it. The partnership we have with the Reading Association of Nigeria is working for us. We have this partnership clearly defined. One, we want to meet up with what His Excellency said, ensuring that we are one of the 3 top states with the lowest illiteracy rate. How are we going to improve our literacy? How are we going to get our children back to learning? How are we going to make them not be distracted with all the new media and stuff that distract them? How are we going to improve the reading culture of our children? These are questions that we keep asking. Therefore, when the Reading Association of Nigeria came to us with a proposal about how these things can be done, Chief Obiano saw it as a good opportunity. We started that far back in 2015, where we started with some local government areas. We did a pilot.
The project commenced in earnest with an 18-day workshop where 60 master trainers were taught the literacy strategies to be used in implementing the project.
What my goal is to help students assess themselves. Assess themselves richly across a range of material that they work on over time for purposes of making future plans.
Our training was effective. And the training covers the 4 language skills that we use in every aspect of learning: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And of course, critical thinking. Anybody who cannot think critically may not pass examination. Even in real life situation, may not progress.
We model what we teach, we demonstrate what we teach, we provide hands-on activities for these teachers. And when we are sure, after a period of about 3 months, extensive and intensive modeling, practicing, creating the right atmosphere, we now are able to develop a core of teachers who will stand in for us.
At the end of the workshop, the master trainers were put in charge of clusters as cluster leaders. A cluster is made up of 3 to 4 schools. The most centrally located schools in a cluster served as the meeting place for all teachers every Monday and Wednesday. Participating LEAP teachers also met last Saturday of every month, where they share their experiences in implementing LEAP strategies in their classrooms and brainstorm on how to successfully navigate challenges.
We learned a lot during this training. We learned how to handle our pupils, strategies to use to teach them, not just coming into the class and start talking and have abstract. They cannot see and handle those things that you are telling them. We even learn that you teach from known to unknown. You show them the materials, they will handle it, they will feel it, they will speak on their own. But the most important one is to motivate them, because it allows them to have a free mind. When you ask questions, they will just come out from the class and answer a question, knowing fully well you are going to appreciate them for answering that question.
I would like to see a classroom where children are celebrated even when when they make errors or create miscues, because I know that errors and miscues will lead to almost ultimate achievement of goals. I would also like to see a classroom where a child is encouraged to be responsible for his success. I would like to see a school where children matter, and not just the teachers bombarding them with information.
A toolkit handbook, which is the principal material that contains all the details and guidelines to be used in the classrooms, were given to each and every participating teacher, including other journals. In addition, all students in the LEAP participating schools were given a journal for communicating with their teachers and fellow students. At the cluster level, implementations were monitored by a project team using active observation technique. Each monitoring session was followed by a post-observation meeting during which the monitors pointed out teachers' good practices, discussed areas that need improvement, and suggested how to effect such improvements.
We call this post-test. We did this in order to determine the achievement of the pupils, as well as the impact of those who have trained, who taught them in the classroom. I'm happy to inform you that during the training and the result of the post-test, we have 33% of our pupils who are reading at frustration level. There was a gain in that aspect. Then we have 47% that were reading at instructional level. And finally, we have 43% who are reading at independent level.
The LEAP project was designed to equip teachers with the knowledge and skill to empower their students to not only become critical readers and writers, but to be able to take full responsibility for their own learning. To achieve this arduous task, implementing teachers needed to be trained on how to receive information from the written text, organize the information in usable chunks for easy use and communication, store the information in appealing forms to aid recovery and use during communication, develop the capacity to retrieve information from stored sources, be able to share written information with diverse audiences.
So we place emphasis, a lot of emphasis, in the type of material the child uses. So we have now introduced the concept of portfolio assessment, in which we take the totality of what happens within the school system, within the classroom system, even within the home of the child. We bring all this data together in assessing the learning process and the aspirations and expectations the child wants to go.
No child will not be termed or non-entity, but that child has his or her own learner's ability. When you use this portfolio assessment to assess them, you will see that there is an ability, learning ability that child will do very well. And you will see it when he starts to showcase his portfolio.
It is a well-known fact that the generality of our students can barely read and write in English and even in their native mother tongues. LEAP has therefore empowered teachers with current and proven trends in literacy instruction and promoted healthy collaboration and partnership amongst teachers and students. Through LEAP activities, teachers of the pilot schools have learned to trust, support, and share one another's ideas that lead to effective teaching. Most importantly, they have also learned that not only do students have very important and active role to play in the learning process, but that meaningful learning only occurs when there is active interaction between teachers and teachers, teachers and students, students and students, and between teachers, students and parents.
In fact, I have seen a lot of improvement within the teachers that I'm teaching, and then within the children that have been handed over to them, because I moved around the classes the other day. I saw that they have been putting those things in practice. Like before now, most of the teaching is the teacher will just stand up and continue teaching while the children will be busy jotting something for those of them that can jot something. But now it is activity based. When you go into the class, you see all the children participating whatever that is being done in that class. Before now, we used to call some children, these people, they are dull children. But now, we don't have any dull child in any class. Because if the child is not good in this aspect, that child must also be good in another aspect. So in fact, this program is supposed to be sustained because it has made teaching and learning in Anambra State to be child-centered. And not only child-centered, it has also gone to make it to be learner-led assessment. That is a process where the children will now assess themselves towards what they're doing, they correct themselves, they make amendments of where they did not do well.
The LEAP project, which is built on the premise that unless learning is fun, goal-oriented and participatory, students may not want to endure the pressures of learning or taking risks in seeking information to meet LEAP goals and objectives.
Based on this method and techniques we learned during our training, it's helped me in my class because pupils are responding and are understanding easily when I applied those methods I learned during the training. They're no longer using big grammar to the pupils because the pupils, they will go and think, bring in the ideas among themselves. From there, learning is taking place.
Every member of the class now participates. I found out that nobody is done, or nobody is dormant. They all feel like participating whenever you're teaching, and they enjoy the lesson.
This is why collaboration and group work were used extensively in the LEAP literacy workshop models to promote active teaching and learning.
Our emphasis is now teacher-teacher collaboration, pupil-pupil collaboration, and teacher-pupil collaboration. When the atmosphere is adequately created, and when there are enough hands-on activities for this cream of teachers within the cluster, we now begin to see that yes, the literacy enhancement and achievement package is beginning to sit down at the classroom level.
Keeping in line with best practices all over the world, the government of Anambra State has synergized and adopted one of LEAP's signature reading strategies, the Uninterrupted Sustained Silent Reading USSR, and made it compulsory for all schools in the state to set aside 1 hour every Wednesday for its implementation. The impact of LEAP is visible in many ways. Students now have a voice in the learning process as they interact with one another and with their teachers.
The previous pattern, when the teacher finishes teaching, it makes you shy if you don't understand anything. It makes you shy to ask questions because maybe if you ask it, students will laugh at you. But now, if she finished teaching, she will ask us to go to our various schools and discuss it. When we are discussing it, so if they know, if you ask questions, they will tell you. And if you know, if they ask questions, you will tell them, not feeling shy.
LEAP literacy is a family affair. Parents not only encourage the children to read and write, they also serve as role models. They celebrate literacy events in the home and make literacy fun and captivating. Her Excellency, Chief Mrs. Obiano, as a role model during the second LEAP Literacy Festival, read from her masterpiece, Willie, an intimate biography. In this way, she models and author reads her work.
The day I met Willie started like every ordinary day. Nothing supernatural happened to predict the events of the day. No dream, no vision, or any such thing. That morning, just like I did every other morning, I walked out of our street to the main road to catch a bus to work. And I noticed these 5 gentlemen in suits standing at the bus stop. Beyond their number and the fact that they were well dressed, nothing really stood out about any of them. Well, you would have needed to look closely to notice anything.
The LEAP project have been able to improve the literacy of 13,700 students and empowered Anambra State teachers with improved literacy content and associated instructional strategies.
Through 2015 to 2016, we were able to cover all the JSS 1 to 3 teachers in Orumba South Local Government, Oka South Local Government, and Anambra East Local Government. At that time, we concentrated on JSS 1 to 3. And the total number of teachers we were able to cover at that time was about 4,000. But this time around, at this second phase, we are now all the teachers in all the state primary schools, government primary schools in Anambra State are involved. And this time around, we have more than 9,000 teachers who are benefiting from this program, who can stand their ground, and who can go to other parts of the country as effective and efficient facilitators of the literacy enhancement project. This time around, more than 300,000 pupils in Anambra State have benefited from this program.
A lot of teachers have been trained as trainers and master trainers who are carrying on these activities, who are championing what we are doing. A lot of teachers too have improved on their teaching methods and methodologies. I have gone personally to monitor the teaching of teachers in the schools. I have interacted with the students, and the students were able to, tell us some of the experiences, how boring some of the classes were before the training that we gave to the teachers. There was a particular teacher they used to call Angola, and now they tell me that teacher is now one of the best because they no longer go to sleep when she comes to class. So it's really working for us, and I'm really grateful to the Reading Association of Nigeria for what they have been doing in this term, and of course His Excellency for knowing a good thing when he says one.
Governor Obiano's 10-year Anambra rolling plan that is passionately committed to expanding the frontiers of education in the state is already yielding results. Teachers from the state have won various awards. At the President's Award 2017, Anambra State was adjudged as the best in teaching profession in Nigeria at World Teachers' Day celebration. A teacher at Central School Abagana in Njikoko local government area of Anambra State by name Mr. Okodo Clement Woye was the best teacher in Nigeria. This is a clear evidence of the direction and purposeful leadership provided in Anambra State by the Governor, His Excellency Chief Dr. Willie Maduabrochukwu Obiano. Students from Regina Passes Girls Secondary School representing the state won gold at the 2018 Technovation World Pitch in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, USA. To qualify for the World Challenge, the girls defeated their contemporaries in Nigeria with a mobile application they developed to combat the incidence of fake pharmaceutical products in Nigeria.
We have to continue doing what we have done to make this happen. And what are those things? Dedication, passion, commitment, support, all that is required, and we continue to provide it consistently so that all other people, all the children, they will have this type of opportunity. And I want to also say that we need to believe the world itself is a global village. For Nigeria to be able to go to San Francisco, to California, to compete, it means what we are talking about now is not localized. Knowledge is universal. And with what we have with technology, with ICT, it now provides those of us in developing countries a platform to be able to catch up, and given the opportunity, we can even do better.
Evidently, this is the direct result of hard work and great sacrifice, and a clear offshoot of the philosophy and achievement of Governor Willie Obiano in Anambra State.
I must commend the LEAP, particularly Professor Keto Menoa, for seeing through this project. This project is started in 2015, and we're still on it. I've been motivated by what I've seen today. I will be supporting this program until every school in Anambra State has a
LEAP has therefore called on all well-meaning in the Anambra to support the government in her drive to use literacy to revolutionize education in Anambra State in line with current trends in global education. A literate citizen means a safe and more productive Anambra State.